things. I asked Millie if I could have just a minute about the bar at the crab feed. So I'm going to pass this around, and we don't have a lot of people signed up for the bar, and that's probably the most important part of the crab feed. So please take a look, and if the slots you've wanted, maybe you can do, if the slots you've wanted seem to be taken, just put your name there, and I'll arrange it. And the bar means serving drinks and not drinking too many. Okay, could I ask Carolyn and Kathy to come up, please? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I won't use the mic. Up here. So today it's my great pleasure to introduce... You think I should?
I think you should. You're too far away.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. It's my great pleasure today to introduce Carolyn Siegfried. She's been a guest here 150 times, and so she really knows most people and everything about Rotary. Ms. Carolyn Siegfried is the Executive Director of the Bedrosian Foundation, and she's here together with her sponsor, Kathy Farrell. Her mentor is Stacey Linder, who could not make it today. I'm sorry. So you haven't met Stacey, have you? She hasn't met Stacey, but she's going to be her mentor. So would the members of the board please come up and stand over here, so when we finish with this, you can say hello and welcome Carolyn personally, please. And as they're coming up, I'd also like to ask each of you, the club members that is, to introduce yourself to her, to Carolyn, whenever the opportunity arises. So Carolyn, you've attended orientation, I think?
Yes, I have.
And were given a lot of information about the club and about Rotary in general. But there is a lot more to learn. We, all Rotarians, have a common and simple purpose. That is to improve the lives of people on this planet of ours. Carolyn, you're deeply involved in this community already in providing scholarship aid to Livermore High School students as they progress in their higher education. Now, it is your responsibility to determine what your contribution to the world of Rotary and this club is to be. So I ask you to find out about the activities of this club in our community and internationally, and to determine what your role will be. One way to find out, is to work on a project. This club is quite busy, and coming up on the 31st of January this year is our crab feed. It's one of our biggest, if not our biggest, fundraisers. And I know that JR could use some help. That's JR Romero, he's over there somewhere. So you may want to volunteer and have some fun in doing so. I'm also extending this challenge, and I probably should say invitation, to each of you, all the members of this club, to get to know Carolyn a bit more. This clothing, which now our wannabe president is soon to be, is getting. The yellow vest and the Rotary pin are to be worn with pride. The vest will identify you as a Rotarian when working on a project, and the Rotary pin on the lapel of your jacket, or whatever clothing you're wearing, does the same. Let's not forget that having fun and the enjoyment of being together is an essential ingredient for the success of this club and Rotary in general. So Rotarians, again, I am happy to introduce Carolyn Siegfried.
Well done. Well done. Well done.
Welcome to
Your support is well appreciated. Welcome to the club.
Paul, would you like to come up here? And Paul Brown is going to do some information about the Rotary Foundation.
Okay. Actually, Deborah McQueen, can you come up here and join me? Deborah, congratulations. Actually, I get a hug for that. Deborah, you have earned your Paul Harris Fellow Plus 2 award. That means threefold. And Deborah has been very special to me, along with Sheila. As you know, you've seen them up here in various states of dress and costumes and whatever. And without this team that we have, we wouldn't have been nearly as successfully as we have been this year. So And thank you, Deborah, for all of your good work and for all of your help. Thank you. Thank you. As I announced last week, we've exceeded our annual program fund goal of $35,000, thanks to Deborah and Sheila's help. And we're still going. We're still going strong. We are also having a Matching Points for Polio program again this year. The Polio Plus campaign kicks off in a few weeks. And we're going to use recognition points to match donations that club members make at $100 and above, so that you can get your next Paul Harris Fellow status twice as fast as you normally would. And the deadline for doing this matching points is June 1st of this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Always great to hear about great things. So now I'm going to bring or invite Peter Paulson to come up to the lectern and introduce our one of our presentations today. Peter.
Thank you, Billy. A couple of weeks ago, my wife Jackie and I were delivering some stuff to one of the churches that were hosting the homeless people. And we got into a conversation with Donna McKenzie, who, with her husband Bob, are the principals in running the Livermore Homeless Refuge. And I was quite impressed with what they do. And I was thinking that this is our community, and we're a Rotary Club, so maybe we can help in some way. So you'll be hearing from Bob. And come on up, Bob. Bob McKenzie will tell you about the Livermore Homeless Refuge and what they do.
Thank you. 5 years ago, Pastor Doug Quadra at the Vineyard Christian Fellowship went to City Hall and said, we've got a place in Livermore for women, we got a place for women with children, and we got a place for battered women. We have no place for men. We need to put a program together that gets homeless men off the street. City Council, in typical City Council way, said, don't call us, we'll call you. 45 days later, they called Doug and said, we've had 3 people die on the streets of Livermore in the last 45 days. And nobody should be dying on the streets of Livermore. Can you help us put a program together? So at that point, Doug called a number of his pastor friends within the area. And John Boast at Holy Cross Lutheran, Steve Wild at First Presbyterian, Pastor Chuck at Asbury United Methodist all stepped up with his church also. So what we have here in Livermore is 3 host churches, Vineyard, Asbury, and Holy Cross, and we're at each church 3 weeks at a time. The conditions for us being at the church is if it's 40 degrees or less in temperature or 20% chance of rain. And at that point, we're open. Last year, we're a November 1 to April 30th service. That's 180 nights. Last year, we were open 152 of the 180 nights because it was especially cold, and we're having a replay of that this year. We were open every night in December. So far, we've been open every night in January. Last year, we served 146 separate people. But a typical night for us is 25 to 30. And if we had like 25, we'd have 20 men and 5 women. And what we have is sleeping bags, mats, blankets, and pillows. And they sleep on the floor, which sounds kind of, but they'd be sleeping on the concrete or on the dirt if they were out on the streets. And we have a cross-section of people that we serve. First off, is there a small group of people that choose to be homeless? And you would kind of shake your head on that and say, why that? Well, they want the freedom and the license to not keep anybody's rules, anybody's schedule, anybody's anything, but they know how to go about within our system locally where they can eat, where they can get clothes, and then they find a place to sleep. The second group really is the drug and alcohol folk. We work with them in every way we can, but if they show up either drunk or wasted, we don't let them in. We find that if they are, they're disruptive to a point that the other 20 plus people that would be in the room are just, can't be around them. The third group we have is the economically challenged. We have a number of people that have lost jobs. You lose your job, you lose your house, you lose your car, you're on the street. And if any of you, could actually think, in your work life, or if you lost your job, what that would mean to you. And so we have that group. And finally, we have the working poor. We have a number of people that have jobs, but they don't make enough money to get ahead of the curve in terms of being able to do first and last month's rent, cleaning deposits. So among this folks, we've worked with the economically challenged folks that have lost jobs and given them counsel on terms of how they can turn that part of their life around. And finally, with the working poor, we've actually, last year, like we talked 4 of them into pooling their resources together, and among them they went to Tracy and rented a 4-bedroom house. And we paid the first last month's cleaning deposit and let them get started on that. Homeless doesn't really define a person. Homeless is a condition they're in. There's a life story behind every one of them. Don and I, because we're in our 5th year with this, we've become trustworthy enough to many of the homeless that they've told us their stories. And some of them are really pathetic. And it's difficult within our community to think that, like I say, we served 146 different people, but there's another group that you'll find sleeping on somebody's couch. You've got another group sleeping in their car. You've got another group that might be living in somebody's garage. And we don't have a real focus on that, but our idea is it's something over 1,000 people in Livermore that are homeless. A couple of years ago, one of my associates was interviewed by Channel 30, I think it was, and halfway through the interview, the lady doing the interview said, "Where do the bums sleep?" And you go, that's a sight that many people would think of if you talk to the homeless. But again, we don't see this as a volunteer service organization. We see it as a ministry. Christ has said, "Whatsoever you do to the least of my brethren, that you do unto me." And believe me, these are the least of your brethren. And we do everything we can to support them. We house them, we feed them, and again, when it's cold or rainy, we get them off the street. So there's a brochure, with more information on each of the tables. And I have business cards, which I'll be glad to give you. And thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Did someone call my name?
Yes.
Oh, Christian.
Yeah, I would like to add that all your underwear project, all your donations, Bob was also really helped in coordinating the distribution. It is very humbling to watch people, homeless, who come in, take a shower, and actually go and start grabbing the underwear. It is very, very humbling. So I want to thank him again, please.
Yes, thank you, Bob, for your service. And Bob, if you're going to stay after, if anybody has questions or has ways that they can help, you'll be available to talk to them? You'll still be here at the end of the meeting?
Certainly.
Great. Okay. I'd like to now invite up on a little happier subject is Chuck Hartwig and Fred Quarterman to talk about the Rotarian Foundation of Livermore. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and this is part of our way of keeping our members informed of what we are doing as joint clubs. And Fred's not joining you? You're on your own?
I don't know, Fred, think I handle it myself?
It's yours, buddy. It's yours. Here, I'll stand up next to you and I'll give you moral support.
Okay,
Go,
good.
Chuck!
Yeah, we got it. So here we go. So thank you very much, Club, for asking us to talk about the foundation. And a month or so ago, Fred gave an overview of what the foundation is and what its purpose is. So President Phil asked me to talk about, well, how do you make decisions with regards to the grants that you actually fund? And what is the finances that support those grants? So Fred and I are going to talk about that in 5 minutes or less. So, let's try this one. It worked. So first of all, you need to understand that the foundation board is elected by you, the clubs. The second thing, and I think you all understand, is the foundation is a mingling of our two clubs in Livermore, so there's one foundation. And the third thing I think you all understand is this is a 501c3 organization. So when you give money to the foundation, it is automatically deductible on your income taxes. Now, the way we really make decisions in terms of what the grants are going to be during the course of the year is through a quite capable committee that reviews the grants and then makes decisions or recommendations to the board, who has the final say about it. And Lori, are you here? Lori Souza? Well, anyway, the next time you see her, thank her for all the work that she's done in terms of doing these grants. Well, we give a big applause right now at the show. And the other committee member, Beth Cassidy, are you here? Beth, they must have known I was going to give this talk. And Doug Etchen, Jerry Hawkins, and Scott Trudeau, so they do a lot of work. Okay, now the way we find out, and we would appreciate some feedback, because that was one of the questions to me was, well, how does this club give information to the foundation to award these grants? But you're elected representatives, and I and Fred are elected representatives. You need to talk to us to make sure your ideas are present.
Don't forget, the presidents of the Noon Club and the Morning Club are also on the board. They're ex officio, but your president and the Morning Club president are also on the foundation.
Thank you, that's bullet number 2.
Oh, sorry. Hey,
Right, and then, so,
I can't see it.
and just you, the members, with active suggestions, like Tom, for instance, helped us out this year, Marcus, in terms of, because we had special money for Bill Geyer, and so we're able to work through some of those things. And then we're aware of what's going on in the community. There are lots of feelers out there. And then we have a website that people can go to and give us suggestions. And afterwards, I would appreciate it if you've got other ways that you think this club can be more effective in making those suggestions. I would appreciate it. 2 more minutes. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm timing you, buddy.
So here's the timing, which is important. So September, the applications are available. We need those applications by December for that calendar year. And then the awards are announced and funded. And then, as you are aware, at each year, we will make the presentations at one of the clubs. So you have a chance to hear what the awards were. So how do we get money? So first of all, we have a finance committee that you see there, and we do fundraising, and there's a fundraising committee, and I'm part of that. But the other way we make money is the gala. So remember, the gala we're going to have next year, by the way, is going to be February 14th, 2015. And Splendoria is one of the people that are heading that, so it's going to be a lot of fun. As well as community donations, bequests. That's a very important way to get money. So the clubs donate, and you as individual member make contributions. So this figure right now is the corpus, which I'm very proud of. So it's over $1 million. Yeah, let's applaud yourselves. So we can give up, with the bylaws, up to 7.5% of that corpus amount. So last year, just to tell you, I want to go through this quickly, we had what we called a legacy grant where we worked with STEM, and so that was very successful. $20,000 to the school, so congratulations to you. Now, in 2012, look at that figure, $72,000 was given back to the community. And if you look through that list, it's quite a wonderful list in terms of what the grants committee was able to decide and work with in terms of the board, what they were able to fund. So I'm going to stop there and just encourage you to ask my subordinate, where are you, Fred? Or myself, questions afterwards. And thank you very much for giving us a chance to talk about your foundation.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Fred, for jumping in there. And thanks for keeping it brief, because we are got a lot of things to do. And I want to make a brief announcement or notice for the crab feed. So JR, Do you have anything to announce about the upcoming crab feed?
But I didn't bring it. Sorry.
Our CAP meeting is actually tomorrow at 5:15, Travel Bug. As you all know, it's sold out, so if you're owing any money on that, please pay Debbie. And I'm gonna pass this over to Splint.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're still desperate in need of auction, raffle auction items. Rory just gave me a wonderful one today, which is he's going to host with lunch a hike to the Morgan Territory Preserve. You'll see the Sierras. Hopefully it's good weather, but you'll see definitely Mount Diablo. If it's bad weather, then you're going to be in his house watching TV, drinking margaritas, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so I do want to promote this one thing. So I'm hosting a dinner at my house for 20 people. It's $100 a person. I want people to sign up if you are so inclined. I'd be honored to have you. It's an Italian-themed dinner. And if some of you don't know, I live out on Mines Road. I live on a vineyard, and I have a winery that if you want to lease my building, you're more than welcome to lease it. It's a tradition of the Piedmont area of Italy. It's called the Bagna Calda. And there's a very specific dish. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but it's very special. All right?
Great.
And I'll pass this around. Please sign up.
What's the
My,
date?
my grandma, or my noni, is from Piemonte in Italy, so I know all about Bagna Calda. But I want to talk about, my little plug is we're doing a cocktail sauce contest, and you can win $100. I have 3 entrants. We're going to take up to 10 people. And you also get to win bragging rights. So there's flyers on the table, and hopefully you can take one and sign up. And then is Norma here? Norma, you want to talk about the Christmas party really quick? And then Moni, you can make your way up here.
Okay, this is from past before Christmas. This is Christmas Family. I wanted a chance to thank all of you for your generosity. You made Christmas happier for 7 Livermore families, and they really are appreciative. I shopped with a family this year, and she was just overjoyed that she was able to get toys for her kids, and that was what she really wanted. So, and then I want to thank the shoppers. They were Laura and Debbie and Jermaine, Yvonne, and Peter. And this wouldn't happen if we didn't have the shoppers. So thank you all very much for your generosity.
Thank you. We are now going to do mini grants, so I'm going to turn it over to Moni and Kathy.
Thank you. By the way, I'm really honored to hear all the great projects that we're doing. So honored to be part of this club. My name is Moni Knopf. I'm one of the co-chairs of the mini grant. So welcome to the Rotary Club mini grant presentation. So before we get started, I'll have all the recipients come up here, please. And I know you guys been given a number, so come on up, all the recipients. Lined up right here, 1 through... Yes, they have numbers. We're very organized.
Don't mess it up.
And for those of you who work with Kathy, you know she's very organized. Yes, she keeps me in line too. That's a very, yeah. Okay. As we get started, before we get started, I would like to take a couple minutes to thank a few people real quick. One is our LVF representative, Vicki Schellenberger, and her crew, her organization. She's not here today, but Livermore Valley Education Foundation help funds all our grants, so let's give them a round of applause, please. The school district trustee, Kate Runyon and Cindy Alba, they helped us at our meetings to make sure that we fund appropriately as well, to give us more inside information about why we need to fund certain things as well. So thank you to those folks. Let's give them another round of applause. And last but not least, all our committee members, please stand up. Mini grants and sponsors, please stand up if you sponsor a grant. I want to thank each and every one of you for attending our meeting. Our passionate discussion before we grant certain applicants is amazing. You guys have it's just been fun. So thank you so much for all your time. Really appreciate that. And of course, my co-chair Kathy, keeping me together, keeping me organized, and thank you so much for doing all that great work. Okay. All right. Let me tell you a little bit about Livermore Rotary Mini Grant. What it's all about. The Livermore Rotary Club Mini Grant Program provides funds for materials, equipment, and other resources necessary to carry out special projects that directly benefit the community, with a particular emphasis on our youth and education. These awards are granted 4 times a year, vary in value up to $500, and are given to groups, not individuals. A panel of Rotary representatives review all applicants, evaluating for financial and overall community impact. Grants are funded again by your support, your generous donation, and also the Livermore Valley Education. Thank you. Let's get started. The first recipient is Bill Bergman. Bill is from American Legion Post number 47. The sponsor is John Gordon. So I'll have Bill come up here. In each one of you, please, when you come up, please say a few words.
Brief. Well, our request was to honor one of our local heroes, Jason Ross, who was a Eagle Scout in Livermore. He was a graduate of Granada High School, and he's a U.S. Marine that lost both of his legs in Afghanistan. To let you know what we were doing with the grant request, I'm sure you all have seen Home Depot's advertisements either in print or on TV about how they go and help veterans at their houses to remodel them for whatever they might need. Well, we submitted names of several veterans to receive this from their foundation, and we had two local veterans in Livermore that were selected for this year. And Jason Ross was one of them. His was the major one and the major project that the Home Depot from their division out in Hercules and Antioch undertook. And what the request was for was to pay for the building permit from the city of Livermore. The city of Livermore could not waive the permit because it would have looked like a donation to a specific organization, and they would have to donate to anybody that requested it. We did a major remodel, or Home Depot did a major remodel of his house here in Livermore, so that he could have wheelchair access to move around. Remodeled one of the bathrooms to make it so that he could get in there with his wheelchair. Totally redid his the kitchen so that with his wheelchair he could get there, and of course took out all of the carpeting to put in a hard floor because you need that for the wheelchair. So the city of Livermore was very accommodating to us. They had building inspectors that stayed at the project the entire time so that as it was going on during the day they could sign it off. There was over 80 volunteers out there that day working from all over the Bay Area. They contributed, Home Depot contributed over $18,000 worth of materials that went into this house. And so a very heartfelt thank you to Home Depot. And I would like to thank John Gordon for carrying this request to your club. And I would like to thank you for the grant. It is going to a very good cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. By the way, part of that you may have not known, but our hero, Jason, had endured, I believe, over 200 surgeries already, by the way. Amazing. Next award recipient is Constance Ormond. Constance from Arroyo Seco. And this is an amount for $500. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much. With a grant that I'm receiving, I requested to get an iPad for my classroom, trying to step up the technology in my classroom, and it will benefit all the students in my room, as well as I serve 2 students that come in from the special ed classroom during the day, in addition to all the different levels that are already in a normal classroom. So I appreciate what you do very much. Thank you very much.
Constance had applied a few times and finally here, so thank you. All right, next is Christy Barcelona. Sponsor Sheila Fagiano. This is for $300, so she'll tell you a little bit more about it.
That's funny. So I'm going to be using the grant money. Really, this idea was given to me by a student. He said, I would love to do a science fair project, but I don't think my family has enough money. And so I just came to you guys to see if there was some way I can help him get the materials that he needs for the science fair. And then it also just opened my eyes to a bunch of other kids that may not have the funding at home or the support to get this done. So I'm also going to open my classroom at lunch sometimes and then after school to help these kids just have the opportunity to participate. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. As you can see, amazing already. You can make me cry. All right. Next is Donna Lee, sponsors Normal Floss, and this is for $272. Come on up, please.
Hi everyone. This grant that I submitted is also for technology use. So a lot of the students, we participate in the science fair and they just don't have the resources. So with this grant, it's a start that hopefully we can build a laptop library for the science department, so it'll be used through elementary and the middle school shared. And all of these students will be able to build up in having the tools and the skills to work when they leave middle school and throughout high school. But thank you so much for all of your support, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And next is Lauren Kubiak. Lauren's from LRPD. I'm her sponsor, and she'll tell you a little bit more about her project.
I work at East Avenue PAL. If you don't know what PAL is, it is a middle school program that we have the kids come before and after school and during the summer. What is great about our program is we have a lot of enrichment activities, and most importantly, we have homework time for them. So during this homework time, we are going to now be able to have laptops for the students to help them with their homework. So we're going to be getting 2 Chromebooks, and they will be able to use the laptops to finish their homework and in turn get better grades. So I just want to thank you all for your contribution. It means so much to us, and I want to thank you on behalf of my students. Thank you.
Jennifer Yaud is from Livermore High School, sponsors Alberto Solizano. So,
hello everyone, and I'm a math teacher at Livermore High School, and as you can see I have like a little tool here because I wanted to show you. When I teach a concept, sometimes when you have 30 to 35 students, it's hard to see, did they really get it? Do they really understand the concept? And so this is a non-technology way for me to see, do they really understand it? All the students are going to have a whiteboard with their own whiteboard pens, and I ask them something like, okay, go ahead and graph y equals -1/3 x plus 4. And they graph it on their whiteboard, and then they show me. And I say, yep, you got it, yep, try again. That looks, and I can really see if there's some, common mistakes, and I can help them out. So I think it's really helpful, and the students are excited.
Please don't ask me to do that. I have no idea. Okay. Next is Marianne Borst from Livermore High School, also sponsored by Alberto Solizano. This is for $324. Come on.
Marianne Borst could not be here this afternoon. She wanted to stay behind. She had a special project that she was working on with her students, and so I'll accept this check on her behalf. She wanted to purchase a new digital tablet that you hook up to either a PC or a Mac, and you could actually draw images or sketch images, portraits and so forth on this tablet that you could save digitally. And so it creates kind of a digital portfolio for a lot of our advanced AP art students. And so this is a kind of a new generation of kind of the old hard copy type portfolios are now moving on to more of a digital format. So she's very excited to have this in her classroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Athena Rios from Maryland Amherst School. Mike Thompson is a sponsor. This is for $500. This is one of them. She's not here. I'm sorry about that. But anyhow, what this money is for the fund for the Harvest Month program, where they teach parents, students, hands-on activities, how to taste fruits and things like that. From what I could remember. So that's all the notes I have. All right. Next is Margie Kubiak from Mendenhall Middle School. Deborah McQueen was a sponsor. This is for $350.
Hi, my name is Margie Kubiak. I've been at Mendenhall for 3 years, and I love to teach reading. They love to read. I was amazed at how many kids love to read at Mendenhall. It's my 3rd year there, and I'm just finding There's a resource kids that don't like to read. They like to pick up a book. Some of them can't comprehend what they're reading. We have dyslexic children that can't understand what they're reading. So we decided this year we're going to try these little flash drives. We're loading books on here. While they're reading the book, they're listening to the book, so they can comprehend what they read, understand what a word sounds like when they look at it, and we're hoping that this will help them start loving to read. Thank you all very much for this. This is really important to us.
As you can see, as tiny as that device may be, for like, I think it's $7.99, if I remember correctly, and you make a huge difference. Next is Katie Strube, did I correct that right? She's from Rancho Las Positas. Ted Michaels is a sponsor. This is for $200.
Thank you very much. I'm a science specialist at Rancho, and I see 1st through 5th graders, and I requested funds for a wireless microphone system for the kids because I have a loud voice, but they don't. And in order to support the new Common Core standards, 2 of the goals are communication and collaboration, and I asked them to share out their data and their conclusions, and a lot of times I can't hear what they're saying and other students can't hear what they're saying. So in order for us to communicate and collaborate better, we are going to have 2 wireless microphones. So thank you very much.
Next is Elizabeth Ford from Rancho Las Positas. Ted Michaels also the sponsor. This is for $500.
Hi, thank you so much. Very honored. This is my first time putting in a grant, so my students are very excited. I teach resource, so special ed students. This money will be used for a spelling program and hands-on manipulatives, so they can get their hands on there and really learn to spell these words in many different forms. So thank you all so very much.
And last but not least, it's going to be Dr. Laura Limbo. It's going to be here on behalf of Mary Fonerty, one of our teachers at Joe Mitchell. I'm her sponsor. Come on up, please.
Yes, I'm here accepting this grant on behalf of Mary Farnady. She would love to be here, was overwhelmed that she was granted this, but she's unable to. And so I gladly said I would step up and speak to her, her desire really to grow our middle school PE program. So Joe Mitchell began adding middle school grades probably about 5 years ago, and we've slowly been adding an athletic program so that students can gather together and learn team sports such as basketball and volleyball. Last year we had a girls volleyball team, but sadly some of our students, we're a Title I school, can't afford to pay for the uniforms, and so we created uniforms. And when we competed with students in the Tri-Valley area, it was very clear that our students looked very different. And so this money will be used to provide uniforms for our students, so when they get on that field, the playing field is equal. So thank you on behalf of the students at Joe Mitchell and for Mary, who I know is over the moon with excitement. Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you so much. For those of you that do not know, Joe Mitchell is the only international backward program or school in the entire school district, by the way. You do a phenomenal job. So it's more business-related, holistic approach is my understanding, so you have to ask her some more questions about that. All right, in conclusion, I want to tell you this real quick. There were 20 applicants altogether. Of the 20, 12 were granted. The total request was $10,474. The total granted was $46.66. Of that, Rotary, your donation, your support, we granted $2,800, and the Livermore Valley Education Foundation granted $1,866. So a lot of money from our community here. So thank you for that very much. So, in conclusion, too, I wanted you to, think about this as well as you move forward and, every day. we do make a huge difference in what we do here in our community. So when you're thinking about giving and whatnot, please think of us at the mini grant. We will utilize that money to do some amazing things and make some very impactful things in our community. I want to again end on this note, and I'd like you to think about this as well. I want to end on this quote that I always remember how I do my personal life, how I practice my business and everything that we do, is that it's more important to make a difference than to make a dollar every day. Thank you.
It's just, wow. It's so inspiring to see the community benefit from our actions here in the club, and I know that the crab feed, part of our donations goes towards the mini grants. But just my thoughts on the mini grants, we could use whiteboards, we could use wireless mics, and maybe some of those other new technologies that they're getting that we can take advantage here. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to now do the drawing. Barbara pulled a ticket. And do you have your red tickets? The ticket this week that won is 606-005. 005. Oh, winner, chicken dinner. Hey,